Today we'll take an in-depth look at two thought-provoking chapters from Taxocracy that offer a sharp critiques of government intervention and its unintended consequences. In the first chapter, The Wheelbarrow, it delves into the absurdities of inflation and economic control, while the second chapter, The Safety Officer, provides a satirical examination of overregulation in the name of public safety. Together, these chapters present a compelling commentary on the delicate balance between government action and individual freedom. In Chapter 7, The Wheelbarrow, it paints a vivid picture, an absurd picture of a man transporting a wheelbarrow full of money to pay his taxes. This image is both humorous and poignant, serving as a striking metaphor for the devaluation of currency caused by inflation. As prices soar and money loses its value, the man's uphill battle becomes a powerful representation of the burdens imposed on individuals by inflationary policies. The narrative critiques the role of government intervention by fueling inflation through excessive spending, uncontrolled monetary policy, and economic mismanagement. The wheelbarrow, laden with nearly worthless cash, symbolizes the erosion of purchasing power. Everyday transactions not just become cumbersome, but absurd. A stark reminder of how policy decisions ripple through the lives of ordinary citizens. The author challenges us to consider implications of inflation. How does it disrupt the fabric of daily life? What happens to savings, investments, and the economic security of families when the governments prioritize short-term fixes over long-term stability? Through the struggles of the man with the wheelbarrow, the chapter underscores the human cost of inflation, not merely an economic phenomenon, but a deeply personal one. Moreover, the story highlights the tension between the government authority and the individual resilience. This man's determination to meet his tax obligations despite the absurd circumstances mirrors the resilience of individuals navigating flawed systems. Yet, it also raises pressing questions. Should the government bear accountability for inflationary crisis? And how can policymakers balance the need for intervention with the prevention of economic freedom? In Chapter 14, The Safety Officer, the focus shifts from an economic policy to regulatory overreach. Here we meet a character so consumed by enforcing safety regulations that he becomes blind to their unintended consequences. The safety officer's obsession with protecting people from the most trivial risks leads to a stifling environment where personal responsibility and common sense are replaced by a rigid bureaucratic control. The satirical portrayal of overregulation highlights the pitfalls of a paternalistic approach to government. While the intention behind safety regulations is often noble, the execution can spiral into absurdity. The safety officer's fixation on minor hazards, such as requiring helmets for mundane activities or outlawing perfect safe practices, becomes a parody of the excessive caution. Meanwhile, larger systematic issues like crumbling infrastructure or inadequate healthcare remain unaddressed. The chapter's humor does not detract from its serious underlying message. Where should the line be drawn between ensuring public safety and preserving individual freedom? When does regulation become an impediment rather than a safeguard? By prioritizing minor risks, the safety officer's approach ironically restricts the very freedoms it aims to protect. Through this narrative, the author critiques the dangers of a society that increasingly relies on government oversight at the expense of personal responsibility. The safety officer's actions serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us that even well-intentioned policies can have unintended counterproductive effects. It encourages readers to reflect on their own tolerance for regulatory interference and consider alternate ways to promote safety without sacrificing autonomy. In conclusion, both chapters from Taxocracy tackle the complexities of government intervention through humor and satire, while offering a nuanced critique of its impact on individual autonomy. In The Wheelbarrow, we see the personal toll of inflationary policies represented by a man's absurd struggle to fulfill his tax obligations. And in The Safety Officer, the focus shifts from the overreach of safety regulations, revealing how excessive caution can stifle personal freedom and innovation. Together, these chapters challenge us to think critically about the role of government in our lives. When does intervention serve the common good, and when does it hinder the pursuit of a balanced and meaningful existence? By posing these questions, Techsocracy invites the readers to reflect on the delicate equilibrium between collective welfare and individual liberty. It is a call to remain vigilant, questioning both the intentions of and the outcomes of policies that shape our society. Through its sharp critiques and thought-provoking narratives, Techsocracy reminds us of all of the importance of holding governments accountable while fostering a culture of personal responsibility and resilience. Ultimately, the book encourages us to envision a world where governance empowers rather than encumbers, a vision that demands both courage and imagination.